I can say without a doubt, Kazai's dubstep gun is going to look so much better compared to mine. The fact that she chose a red and black theme for her dubstep gun is going to make it look so much cooler than my bland, basic dubstep gun. But with that said, this one's also going to be a bit more harder to build because there's a lot more steps I gotta do. And one is I can't really spray paint the edges of the foam board properly without it actually looking like garbage. What I mean by that is this is what a piece of foam board would look like with the edges spray painted. I mean, it is red and it could technically do the job, but I'm not going to do that because it looks very gaudy. And I'm actually using a different color red. This is a darker red upon Kazai's request. So basically what I've done is I just masked off this area right here so this black piece doesn't get spray painted. And then I just spray painted the rest of this thing red. And this right here is just a standard old card stock that I cut to the thickness of two thicknesses of foam board basically, so it can cover up this edge and it'll cover up this edge here. That way, so when I actually slip it over, currently I have yet to actually secure it, but I'm going to. It looks nice and clean. Though there is some ridging you can see right here, and I don't know if I could actually do anything about that with the way I have this thing set up, but I'm going to try and do something about it. Now you're probably thinking, why don't I just cut two of these in the thickness of just one, and then the other one in the other thickness? That's because it'll been a nice big ugly seam right down the middle, and it looked freaking ugly. So this is the compromise I came up with. And the thing is, I'm going to have to be cutting these thin strips for a lot of parts of this dubstep gun. What I mean, well, for instance, right here, I'm going to be trimming out the little holes for the speakers with red. That way, so these look pretty. That way, so it'll look a lot more cooler. Here is actually my. Oh, give me a second. I also went to my local hardware store and got myself an old a $5 volt testing meter. And I just basically rigged it up like the one inside my current dubstep gun. And I got myself a fully working VU meter again. So of course here's the basic housing for Kazai's VU meter. I'm going to be trimming the outer rim right here, or the inner rim right here red. I'm going to be trimming this red also. And this is going to take a while to do too. And then I gotta trim the complete outside of the leading sheet of foam board here on Kazai's dubstep gun. I gotta trim this all out. I'm gonna be trimming this. Let's see. This is also gonna be trimmed. I might trim these. I don't know yet. There's a lot of trimming I'm gonna have to do. I'm also gonna have to trim the edges here, here, and here on Kazai's dubstep gun. This is going to take a long time because I got cut out a lot of these little pieces. Because this one right here, just one of these, will only go from about to here to about here. So I need at least two of these to just trim this one piece here. One of these will trim one, but I can't use the other part that I cut off because it'll be too short and won't get this side. So I'm going to be cutting out a lot of these and then spray painting them. And then I got to let this sit for at least a couple hours before I even do anything with them because it'll be tacky and whatnot. So yeah, I'll come back when I see fit. Okay, so here's a very simple little holding thing to hold the strips I need to spray paint them. So this is just 9. I have no idea how many of these little strips I have to make to actually do all the trimming I need to do on Kazai's dubstep gun. But I know I'm going to need a lot of these. So tomorrow is more or less just going to be me just building a bigger one of these little things and just cutting out a lot of these little strips and then spray painting them red. That's more or less what tomorrow's going to more or less be. So don't expect a video, or there's going to be videos, it's going to be incredibly short because this is boring. I won't be doing anything really to this thing tomorrow other than just cutting, making a bigger version of this little holder thing and just cutting out a heap ton of these. So yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go outside and spray paint these things now. And well, the thing's now spray painted. I have it facing this way because this is the way the wind's blowing, so it'll help it dry. Luckily, I got a nice little shed right here that I can just go in, spray paint it, and then just stick it out on this bird feeder hanger thing we've had in the yard now for years. And of course, all I did is I added this little handle here, so when I'm actually in the shed spray painting, I can just hold it. I can hold it more or less like this, make sure get as little spray paint on myself as physically possible. And of course, now I got annoying birds again. I want that bird to go away. There's no nest here, you annoying piece of junk. Or annoying bird. Go into the front where your freaking nest is. I'm guessing you want to turn that bird into cat poo, don't you, put? Come here, put. Put. Oh yeah, for those that are wondering, Abadu isn't with me and isn't with us anymore. She got sick, and that was pretty much it for her, unfortunately. But this is the replacement. Another stray that I practically tamed myself. I'm gonna miss the Abadu a lot. But this is a good replacement. Alright, so I've gone and lined a few more bits of this thing. As you can tell, I lined the inner speaker cones with red to help accentuate them, and actually it really looks good. It really makes these speakers pop and whatnot too. And of course, I actually haven't tacked this down yet. I think I might tack it down towards the end of this build, but I also did have enough left over to mask one side section right here of this whole little piece right here when it came to lining it, which I actually have a video up a little bit later, or maybe before this video. It took nearly 15 minutes just to actually line this one little side section. And this little side section here actually, give me a second, goes on just like this. Now, of course, if it's not 100% because I've yet to really tack it down, but this gives you a general idea of how the trim looks for this thing. And I am very impressed with how Kazha decided to go for a black and red theme for her dubstep gun. This thing, when I'm done with it, if I do it properly, it's going to look really freaking cool, and I'm going to be very proud of her having this at her booth all the time. Because as of right now, I am very, very impressed with how well this thing's coming along. It's a very good looking little dubstep gun, even with just this small little section here. And yes, I know I am building this thing slowly, but over the next few days, I'm going to really start speeding up on this build, because I only got a few more weeks to get this thing done, and I'd like to get this thing done sometime either next week, or either sometime the week coming up or the week after. I wanted to get this thing done before the 29th, and I don't got that much longer. But one thing did come in today was some resistors. These resistors are 4 red LEDs. So I won't have to worry about me blowing out the red LEDs on Kazha's dubstep gun. So yeah. Oh man, I almost forgot to actually add the LEDs to here. So thank God I didn't close this thing up yet. So I'm going to call this I'm going to call this build portion to an end and come back maybe tomorrow or the next day. Friday, which is tomorrow, I'm getting gigabyte internet. So I may not be uploading for at least a day or two because it's kind of big for me. Our current internet speed is 100 megabytes. We're going from 100 megabytes to a gigabyte a second. I'm happy.